biggest global risks at the moment, what response do you think would be the most common? Natural disasters, cyber attacks, weapons of mass destruction? All good guesses. What about climate change? Because did you know that according to the 2019 Global Risk Report, climate change-related risks now count for 4 of the top 5 global risk impacts. Climate change is no joke. So how have the world's leading countries tried to negate its effects? Well, the United States Democrats have proposed Green New Deal, a deal that aims to make the U.S. 100% green. And let me tell you something, it's more of a Green New Dream. It focuses on the reforfeiting of all infrastructure in America, which is probably why not even a single Democrat voted for it. That is why we've created a revised version, a version that could actually win votes. We'll be focusing on the innovation of green technology, the increase of gasoline tax, and finally, the increase of nuclear energy sources.
The word green technology is thrown around left, right, and center in 21st century politics. Funnily enough, when most politicians are asked to define what they mean when they say green technology, most of them can do nothing but beat around the bush for a few minutes and then on to the next question. We need to set a baseline for what a green technology is. When we refer to green technology, we don't refer to some magical innovation that will allow us to instantly solve any problem we may have. Our definition is realistic and straightforward. A green technology is a technology that mitigates the human impact on the environment. It's as simple as that. What's great about this definition is that it doesn't have to burn a hole in taxpayer dollars. Money is green too, after all. Did you know that 14% of global greenhouse gas emissions are from transportation? 24% is emitted from agriculture and forestry, and another 25% is from electricity production? All of these problems could be solved with green technology and already existing government programs. For example, NASA could develop green airplane engines and sell them back to airlines with tax incentives. The United States Department of Agriculture could focus on GMO crops that don't merge with non-GMO crops as easily. And lastly, the U.S. Department of Energy could use pre-existing dams and electrical lines to harness hydroelectric energy. It seems clear that investing in green technology would cause a significant dent in global greenhouse gas emissions and pollution.
The United States has a federal gasoline tax of 18.4 cents per gallon. And if you're an American citizen or you've lived in America, they should see normal enough. Now, although HKS is an international community, I have my doubts that any of you have gone off and studied foreign gasoline tax. Luckily enough, I have. Were you aware that your average country has a gasoline tax of $2.62 per gallon? That's right. The world's leading country has a gasoline tax about 14 times lower than just your average country. No wonder people are even considering something like Green New Deal. You know what would be a lot easier, though, than implementing Green New Deal? Simply doubling this already tiny gasoline tax. You could use the proceeds of this tax to give to companies studying green technology in the form of tax cuts for a further incentive. Basically, when you apply this solution in real life, you're going to be discouraging the use of gasoline, because obviously it's more expensive, and encouraging the use of alternative power sources due to those tax cuts. It simply is the most efficient solution.
The final focal point of our Green Deal is nuclear energy. We believe that often talked about clean energy sources are not what we should be focusing on, as they are slow and hard to advance. For example, wind power average capacity factor has only increased 8% in the last 132 years when the first wind turbine was invented, moving from 32% up to 40%. The largest wind farm in the world only stands at 47.7% capacity factor. These technologies are simply too primitive for our modern consumption needs. That being said, nuclear energy produces the same amount of greenhouse gases as wind energy, yet is much more effective and easy to advance. The capacity factor for Palo Verde nuclear generating station currently stands at 90.4%, almost double that of the largest wind farm in the world. The world average has increased from 63% in 1970 to 73% in 2016. Well, that's only 46 years. With all that said, there are still concerns regarding the effectiveness of nuclear energy. One of these concerns is the potential risk of nuclear waste. However, there are many ways to counteract this, and some could even be profitable. One such example is an underground storage facility. The estimated cost for a facility such as this would be $145 billion US, yet would yield estimated profits of somewhere in the range of $257 billion in 120 years. The facts all seem to point to one solution for energy production, and that solution is the bomb.
So if you haven't already picked up, we strongly believe that action needs to be taken against climate change and quickly. Now as a collective, we are just starting to realize just how severe the threat we face is and just how little time is. Efficiency becomes #1 priority. Now today we've proposed our 3 very best ideas. That green technology needs to be further innovated, that there needs to be an increase in gasoline tax, and that nuclear energy needs to be pursued. However, these are not the only ideas out there, so we encourage you all to stay educated on climate change. As we near the end of our speech, we'd like to remind you that in a few years, most of you will actually be able to vote. So we urge you to all vote for the environment, but also factually. Thank you.